So as we go through it, things that I've already mentioned, it becomes extremely important to not only have visibility, but, you understand the context in which some of these agentic workflows are unfolding. And then it's also equally important that it's integrated with your current stack. So the last thing we want is the, sort of creation of a particular environment that for some reason is isolated. It's kind of sitting on its own and not integrated with the entire stack. But in that case, it would again create newer levels of problems where you would, be struggling with sort of your, existing stack and existing processes on one side. And of course, the new ones, the new AI native challenges, if you may, that you would be dealing with and being on top of on the other. This is something we've seen unfold quite a bit, especially with isolated independent programs and independent tooling that has been introduced and brought into a number of our customer organizations and people we speak with in the market. And that has actually created new challenges because it's almost creating a parallel program, a parallel governance model. And that's something that is becoming hard to scale, hard to manage, and also even becoming difficult in terms of ownership, who owns it and how it kind of unfolds. So as we start looking at this unified intelligence plane for AI governance, I think an important piece of the equation is how do you use this with the investments you may already have in place? And so what we have introduced really is we have introduced this layer, and I'm going to show and demonstrate some of this very soon. Essentially two levels of approach or two types of approach to this whole AI governance overall mandate or overall story. So one approach is if you are somebody who wants to run a clean program and collect all the pieces of information, right? You want to have full visibility and understanding of what's happening with your AI models or your AI, sort of substrate levels in your servers, or what are people actually installing in terms of their individual machines? Are they using MCP servers locally? Have they been using cloud cowork? Is there, some sort of usage via the browser? What's flowing through the network? And so on and so forth. So if you really want to install your own agents and have your own probes down there in each of these different collection points and make sure that you have full visibility, well, we do have offerings for that. So kind of playing on that same terminology of the AI nerve center, we call these agents dendrite. So there's a whole dendrite agents and dendrite collectors that go along with AI nerve center. And it takes, like I said, a sort of a two-sided or a two-fanged approach. If you want to have your probes and collectors sit right next to where this usage is occurring, you absolutely have those form factors. These are cross-platform. They are cross, desktop instances as well as servers, and they can easily be installed and easily become your source of data. So that's a possibility. And these are very lightweight, so these are not something that are very intrusive or difficult to roll out. However, what we've seen over the last few years is there have been too many agents already. So this agent proliferation is something that many organizations are wary of. They don't want to bring in more agents. They probably already are collecting some of that information through agents running on desktops and servers, NDR, XDR, firewall, secure browsers, all of these already in play. The identity stack is tracking some of those permissions as well. And then, of course, you're also trying to do this in some semi-structured manner through your ticketing, collaboration, approval processes today. So what you can also do in this case is you can really bring that into the fold. So you can take this up and say, well, I would like to use that existing telemetry, the existing endpoints, the existing pieces that I already have. Let's say my Zscaler proxy already catches all the traffic that is going through from my enterprise. I don't want to go back and re-instrument this sort of signal catching. So in that case, what Uno does is the AI nerve center actually plugs into those. So it would go, and there are the dendrite adapters, if you may, that would plug into existing infrastructure, existing tooling, existing stack, and collect the data and then bring it back into the unified interface. So you've got both the options on the table, and you pick, you decide, you choose, right? And each organization can decide and choose based on what's appropriate, what's right for them.